This is the Comica BooMax, the BooMax, the Comica BooMax. Why did they name it? Why did they name it that? Despite the funny name, this is Comica's direct competitor to the DJI Mic 2 and the Rode Wireless Pro, which are both incredible, and this is half the price. At $189, I am questioning whether this might be too good to be true. By the way, Comica did send me this for review, but they don't get to see the video before I post it. No money exchanged hands. This is totally my honest opinion, and if it sucks, I'll tell ya. Starting off with the specs, the Comica offers all of the usual audio controls that you would expect from a device like this, like gain adjustment, mono stereo and safety tracks, and EQ adjustment. But despite costing only $189, it comes equipped with 32-bit float audio capture, which, if you're unfamiliar, means that it's basically impossible to clip this, and it gives you a lot of flexibility in your edit and a ton of peace of mind when you're filming. Just like the Rode and the DJI Mic 2, it records this internally and can store up to 40 hours of audio capture in each transmitter. None of these specs are better than the Rode or the DJI Mic per se, but it is unprecedented to have 32-bit float audio internal recording on a device this cheap. It's just crazy. Comica technically beats Rode in terms of battery life because it can work for 8 hours continuously while the Rode is limited to 7, but honestly, in my opinion, an extra hour doesn't really make that big of a difference, and in general, I would just call the battery life thing a wash, because when you combine them with their charging cases, both of them get you around 20 hours of use. Both of the receivers have mic input jacks for attaching a lav mic if you don't want to use the built-in microphone, but the Rode's jack locks, so the lav won't accidentally unplug from the receiver if you're on a shoot, which is really nice. That said, Comica offers a touchscreen on the receiver if you want to control the microphones that way. They also have app control and built-in denoise, which puts them more on par with the DJI Mic 2 in terms of functionality or extra features. The DJI Mic's denoise really sucks though, so we're gonna test Comica's in a minute. One of the things that I love about these little mics and 32-bit float recording in general is that it makes it really easy to capture great audio as a solo creator. But what if you want to go beyond your own voice? Artlist just released a major update to their AI voiceover feature. It's called Voice to Voice. You've been able to generate pro voiceovers for a while, but if you've ever used it, you know that sometimes the script just didn't really land right. The performance wasn't quite there. Those days are over. Now you can have complete control over the voiceover by personally recording the lines exactly as you'd like them performed. Artlist will take your recording and mirror your tone, emotion, pacing, and pronunciation, all while giving you the freedom to change your voice to any of the dozens of styles they have available. Not only that, but they've recently implemented 4K upscaling for their insanely powerful AI image and video generation tool, and of course, they keep adding to their amazing library of music and sound effects. Simply put, Artlist just keeps getting better, and if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend you do. I have a link down in the description below that will give you 2 free months added on to any of your annual subscriptions. Thank you, Artlist, for sponsoring this video. Now let's go test the BooMax. I'm going to tell you a story as we compare the audio coming out of the Comica BooMax to the audio from the Rode Wireless Pro. I'm filming this bit of the video 2 days later because I actually went and did all of this. I did all of the tests, the audio tests, and I pulled the audio back into my computer, and I realized that the BooMax had an issue where all of the audio was corrupted, which was, I mean, obviously really terrible. But props to Comica because I reached out to them, I told them about the issue, we troubleshot it for a little bit, and in less than 2 days, they got a firmware update out and fixed the issue. It's no longer a problem. Just make sure that if you get this mic, that you do update the firmware to the newest version so you don't run into any issues with the audio writing. But anyway, this is what it sounds like indoors, so you can really get a feel for what it sounds like on my chest. The other way that I like to use these type of wireless mics is by holding them up like this, interview style, and this will give you even crisper audio, obviously, because you're closer to your mouth. And this is what it'll sound like coming out of the Comica versus coming out of the Rode. Let me know what you think down in the comments. All right, so the audio from the Rode definitely sounds a lot better. It's much more full, it's a much more professional sound, but I don't think the Comica really sounds bad, and from my recollection, it does seem to sound a little bit better than the DJI Mic, though I don't have that here to do a true side-by-side. All things considered, though, I think that the Comica, for half the price, sounds great. Despite basically all of the features being the same on the Comica as they are on the DJI Mic 2, it does have one actually, like, unique feature, which is instead of having one integrated microphone, it has two. One of them is omnidirectional, which is what you're listening to right now. It's the sort of audio that you're used to hearing from devices like this. The other one is a cardioid pattern, which I've switched over to and you're listening to right now. The cardioid is a much more directional pattern, so if I point it away from me, you're not going to hear it quite as well as you'll hear the omnidirectional one, which again, I've switched right back to. Now back to the cardioid one. If you're going to use it in a sort of like a boom situation, any of your boom mics, most of them are cardioid patterns. So if I hold it up here, out of shot of the camera, right there, like I would a boom mic, it sounds a lot crisper and clearer than it would if you were using the omnidirectional pattern, which again, I've switched right over to right now. So you can obviously tell that the cardioid is much more clear, and you could even use it as a sort of boom mic if you wanted to. This is a pretty cool feature. I think that the omnidirectional actually sounds much more natural than the cardioid, but it gives you that flexibility of using either one depending upon your situation. Now, if you've watched any of my other reviews of devices like this, you know that I don't like the denoise features on these. I think it sounds terrible, but we're gonna be comparing that feature because some people use it. So here I've got white noise on my phone. I'm gonna play that. Right now what you're listening to is the Comica BooMax with no noise reduction, and now this is the Comica BooMax with their low noise reduction. Now again, you want to be listening for a distortion in my voice, and this is the Comica with high noise reduction. Now compared to the low noise reduction one, you're going to hear quite a difference in the white noise. So yeah, the denoise, I don't even know if it works. Maybe there was a very slight difference, but I don't really care because I don't use it, and I don't really recommend anybody use those features anyway. This is first impressions for me on the Comica BooMax. I want to take a look at the quality of it. Actually, everything that you've already seen hasn't even been filmed yet. You got to remember with this thing that it is like half the price of the DJIs and the Rodes. And generally, I tend to think and experience that kind of comes out in the build quality. But this is, ooh, a pretty nice carrying case. It's solid. Like I definitely feel some weight to it. So we'll unzip it here. Whoa. There's a little flap off to the side with the magnetic plates, which is awesome. And this just kind of, oh, that's so satisfying. I'm surprised. This actually feels really nice. Everything about the build quality of the BooMax surprised me, in a good way. I mean, the case, the transmitters, and the receiver, they all have this rubberized texture that feels great, and they're really solid. The buttons are clicky, and the LED indicators are intuitive. Even the windscreens are easy to attach. As for controls, there's some limited ones on the transmitters themselves, so you can record or turn the noise reduction on and off just by clicking the transmitter. But most of the other settings are going to be controlled using the receiver, where you have two options. You can either use the touchscreen, which works okay, but it is small, so I found it a little bit difficult, or you can use the haptic wheel, which is it's incredible. Like, the tension on that wheel is perfect, and there's soft stops that are just kind of clicky every time you hit a next selection. It's great. All of that aside, one of the most impressive things to me was simply the power of the magnets used for attaching this to your clothing. Transmitter, magnet. Ooh, that's hard. The mic on the outside. That is not going anywhere. I don't know why I still have this hanging up there because it's summer now. Ooh, that's not going anywhere. Wow. I'm honestly really shocked. At this price point, with all of these features, the Comica definitely blows the DJI Mic 2 out of the water. The only reason that I would go with the Rode Wireless Pro instead is that better internal audio and the locking lav mics that just make it much more suitable for professional use. But it's up to you to decide whether those things are worth the $200 price increase. Because the truth is, Comica knocked it out of the park with this thing, just like they did with the VM40, which is basically a shotgun version of the BooMax. And if you're curious about what that looks like and how you might be able to use it, you should check this video up over here. I went into it and did a whole review, just like this. I think you'll like it.